بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Okay, before I start this talk, I would like to let you know that this is adult topics here, adult subject matter. So if you are listening to this with your children around you, then turn it off. You cannot be listening to what I'm going to be saying here with children around. Okay, so I've made that quite clear, haven't I? So I don't want anybody coming back to me saying, "Oh, astaghfirullah, Saeed, why did you start talking about that? You know, this is not right, or whatever." I'm saying right now, no children should be listening to this. You shouldn't be listening to this with your children. Okay, with that said, I decided to do this talk because I noticed that people were talking a bit about this case with this so-called Imam Wisam Sharieff. What's allegedly happened, and I have to be honest. I mean, it's not from what I've been dealing with and what other probably Iraqis are dealing with. It's bad. But there are worse cases, and I'm going to discuss with you a particular bad case that I've had, and see what lessons we can learn from this. So I thought this was appropriate to talk about this because I never thought I would get the opportunity maybe to talk about this, because I was thinking, is it really appropriate to bring this up into the Muslim community and let them know about these things? I think people need to know these things because these things are a reality. There are Sheikhs, Imams, Maulanas, Maulvis, doing things to women and even probably men and children, you see. So I think it's important for us to talk about these things, and so that you can safeguard yourselves and your families. Okay, now I'm currently dealing with 4 Imams who are sahirs. Now, this information, how do we get it? From the Ruqya diagnosis. I've got a video which I did at Luton Islamic Center about 5 years ago, reputable Islamic Salafi center, and I did a talk there showing you how you can work out through the Ruqya diagnosis, how you can work out who's the one who done the sihr on you. You know? So that's how we worked out and you can go watch that video. I think it's called Advanced Ruqya Diagnosis, and you can go to their website, it's there. Luton Islamic Center, or you can find it. You can find a link in my on my YouTube channel, or you can find it on my website. That talk, which is Advanced Ruqya Diagnosis, how to work out who the sahir is, who the a'in is, who the hasid is, and where the ta'weed is. All of that stuff you can find out through the Ruqya Diagnosis. One of these imams is particularly dangerous, and that's the one we're going to be talking about. You see, and you can see. Look, I'm dealing with 4 right now. So how many other cases are there out there? People are not probably going to come forward and find this out. People are obviously not doing even the diagnosis to work out who's done the sihr. So they've got sihr and they've got issues, they've got problems. They don't know who's done it on them. Sadly, Dave, before we go into my case, I just want to say a little bit about I saw some sort of bit harsh criticism on the poor sister who's involved in this case. What I would say there is people should refrain from saying, "Oh, she's an evil woman, she's a nasty woman, how could she do these things?" We could all fall into these sort of things, especially when I look at the list. Hey, I won't be surprised if there's sihr on this poor sister, for what I've dealt with, because the issue of masturbation, as I've seen, it's one of the ways they use to get the person in the end. So it's a means. So they get the person to start. What the sahir does a sihr. The jinn go inside, give him a lot of waswas and problems, and then the person starts doing masturbation. You see, and then from there, they've got them because they just need one sin which the person is going to keep doing. When they keep doing that sin, then the jinn can take complete control of the person, and the jinn will just take over the person and take them to the sheikh or the imam or whatever. You see. So what I'm saying is that don't be too harsh on the poor sister. Probably doesn't even know that she's got sihr. Probably doesn't even know such things can happen. Because when you look at it's a bit too much looking at what they were actually doing, and they can deceive them and tell them certain things and make them think that what they're doing is actually good. You're getting close to Allah. You can confuse them, especially reverts. They like reverts. One of the reasons they like reverts, as we'll see later on as I talk about it, is because they don't have much knowledge really on things like this. You know, they really don't have much knowledge, and they're easy prey, aren't they? Really, poor things. May Allah help them, you know. And that's one of the things we have to take care of the reverts, you know. May Allah help them, you know. Dave, so what I'm saying is here, don't be too harsh on that sister, because you yourself could fall into that. If that imam or somebody else, not to this particular imam, I'm talking about somebody, sahir does sihr on you, and you can get affected by the sihr, and you will start doing some strange things. A'udhu billah. So, when you see things like this, just seek refuge in Allah. Allah help that sister. That's crazy. It sounds horrible. Just make dua and, you know, seek refuge in Allah from it. You see, don't be too harsh on it, because you could end up doing the same thing. So what I'm saying is, don't look down at her. Don't, you know, oh, you dirty woman, you are no good. Look what you're doing. Look what you've done to your child. You know, I'm not saying that she's not guilty or anything like that. What I'm trying to say is, don't be too harsh. You know, don't overdo it. Now, I'm not saying that this Wisam, the so-called Imam Wisam Sharieff is a sahir. I'm not saying that. The sister actually, you know, I don't know. I don't want to really talk about him, because it's not gone to court yet. I don't really go into that. But I'm just we want to just take some lessons from this. The sister actually could be affected by somebody else who's done sihr on her, not necessarily this person. You see, you know, that could be the case. And then this person, maybe this, if the case is as it is, if it's true, then maybe he's just taken advantage of her. You see her vulnerability here. You see. Tayyib. Okay. Right. And this particular dangerous imam I'm dealing with right now, and can be described as somebody who's like Salafi, Athari, Ahl Hadith, coming from that kind of understanding of Islam, which is basically what I follow. You see, so and that's why probably it's very strange for people to see people with that type of knowledge, who follow that type of Islam, or, you know, that strand of Islam, doing things like this, because in general, the Salafis, the Atharis, the Ahadis, we don't deal with jinn. We don't talk to jinn. We don't take information. We don't use the help of the jinn. We're far away from the jinn and doing things with jinn. You see, so people don't think that they could fall in. He can't be doing that. It must be something else. That can't be true. You see, you know, because you know what, you're not really. You're sort of like totally oblivious to the fact that, hey, you know what, they actually do some things like that. Sadly. And that's what they use to cover themselves up with, you know. You wouldn't expect somebody like that, coming from that kind of understanding of Islam, to be doing things like this. That's what I want. When I got involved in it, I was quite shocked to see, oh my God, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, subhanallah, what's going on here? That such a person is doing sihr on people, you know. So, you know, subhanallah, bihamdi, Allah save us, you know. The other four imams actually are what we call, we'll say like Hanafi, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Indian, sort of Deobandi sort of understanding of Islam. And I've come across quite a lot like that, who have that understanding of Islam. Doesn't say there's nothing wrong with the Deobandi. I'm trying to say here, or Hanafi madhab, you know, there's nothing wrong with the Hanafi madhab. I'm saying that people come from this. They use these institutions, learn Islam there, and then they do other things, you know. And this particular imam actually went to one of these well-known Salafi sort of institutions, studied there, and came out. You see, you know. So he's using Salafism to do what he wants to do. Same thing people use the Hanafi madhab and going to Deoband, these big madrasas, you know, and then use that status to do what they're doing. You see, it doesn't mean that obviously they're not teaching people to do sihr in these Deoband madrasas. I don't think so. I've not come across anything like that, you know. I've not come across anything like that. And likewise, they're not teaching anything like this in these or in institutions in Saudi Arabia or in Pakistan or Salafi institutions. They don't teach them. They don't teach them sihr, how to do sihr and things like this. No, that doesn't happen. You see. But what I'm saying to you is that just because me mentioning that the person is like follows that strand of Islam doesn't mean everybody in that strand of Islam is doing these things. No, it's not. That's not the case. Or studies at any of those institutions is doing those things. Before we go on to like lessons and the story and then what lessons we can learn from it, I just want to highlight something really important. This is really important, and it really is the thing which helped us to deal with this situation. We wouldn't know any of these things if we didn't know about Ruqya diagnosis and the importance of it. Now, I've written a whole article on this. It's on my website. It's been there for some time. There you talk about evidences why we can do Ruqya diagnosis, how we find out who's done the sihr and that, if you got sihr, and the only way you're going to know if you're cured as well is by doing Ruqya diagnosis. You won't know you're cured, as I had one sister contact me today. Look, Said, somebody told me to do this treatment for 3 days, and after 3 days I stopped because they sort of said to me, after 3 days that should be it. No, I said to her, no way. I said, you're still reacting? He says, yeah. I said, you're still reacting. It means you still got the spiritual disease. It's not gone. You see, so the only way you're going to know if you're cured is actually by reading the Ruqya diagnosis, and then you will know that you're cured. And then when you get no reactions, khalas, you're cured. How do I know I'm cured from my spiritual diseases which I had? Because I'm no longer reacted to Ruqya diagnosis. So if it weren't for the Ruqya diagnosis, I would not know about this Imam, this Sheikh, this Maulana, what he's doing and what he's done, you see. To highlight how important it is, as some of you know, recently, last few videos, we were actually dealing with Iblis himself. May Allah save us. Now, I couldn't believe that we were dealing with Iblis. I mean, I dismissed it. And that's sadly one of those things. You listen to patients, and I think I'm going to be more and more careful now when I listen to my patients. When they say certain things to me, no, Said, it is him, I'm dealing with him. It's like, I have to be, in my side, listen to them and just take, listen to them very carefully. So if it weren't for the Ruqya diagnosis, we wouldn't know how to deal with Iblis, because there's a certain way. You can't kill Iblis. So some of the Ruqya we were doing is, okay, you kill Ruqya, read Ruqya on yourself, asking Allah to kill the jinn inside you and asking Allah to kill the jinns in the sihr network. So you find that the king jinn dies and all the other jinns. But you can't do that to Iblis, obviously. He's not going to die. He's here until the day of judgment, you see. So, and what helped us was Ruqya diagnosis, doing Ruqya diagnosis on people to find out, oh my word, subhanallah wa bihamdi, yes, you do have sihr from Iblis. Yes, you do have Iblis inside you right now for a temporary thing. So he will come in sometimes, do something to them and run out. Like this. In fact, what happened to me one day, I had one brother, and and this just showed the importance of the Ruqya diagnosis, and so he contacts me and said, he's actually inside me side right now as we're speaking. I said, really? Come online. So he comes online. And before I actually did the diagnosis, I was actually thinking, I think the poor brother maybe he's just, he's stressed, he's got a lot of issues, family problems, he's just made a mistake and he's thinking it's Iblis inside him, and it's actually not. It can't be, these things can happen. So I said he came online, and I said, okay, I'm going to do a diagnosis. I didn't tell him what I wanted to do. I just said, okay, get your reference point for me, get that reference point for me before I start the Ruqya. So I got my reference point. Brother's very experienced in Ruqya diagnosis, actually. And I have to say he's one of the he's got to be one of the best students at this, So he got his reference point. So then I read the Ruqya with the intention of asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show me, meaning make reactions in the body, Ya Rabbi, if he's got jinn inside him who are impersonating Iblis, pretending to be Iblis inside him. That's what So I read with that intention. So I'm reading the Ruqya. No reactions. Nothing. And he's just looking at me like that. Like that. So about 10 minutes into it, I said, this is not working. Okay, I'm going to do another one. So okay, all right. Get your reference point again. All right. Got his reference point again. as soon as I started the Fatiha, the reaction was exactly like that. So I'm imagine it. So he's just like that, like that. And it scared me when I saw that reaction. And I stood back and I said, you know what, bro? You've got him in you, man. That's when I realized, yeah. So what do I do? I said, you know what? I don't know, man. Or just ask Allah to cure you. Just ask Allah to cure you. And I had to leave him for a few weeks. I didn't know what to do because just the first time I'm dealing with this. We've heard of cases, what's his name? Yeah, he's doing things. So we had, before that, prior to that, we do the diagnosis. Yep, you've got sihr from Iblis himself. He's done it directly on you. I was alright dealing with that. That didn't bother me too much, because, okay, we're going to try to remove this sihr, ask God for the cure on that. But this time he's inside and he's doing damage to the brother. He's hurting me, brother. Side, what I'm going to do this. And the brother was going through a lot of emotions. I didn't know what to do. I was a bit stuck. And then, cut long story short, he did some Ruqya, and I came back to him after a month because then I had another case where same thing happened. So then the brother, after talking to him and that, I sent him. I remember he contacted me. Oh, he's inside me now, Said. He is here. So I said, okay, so we've got to do something because what it was, we found out. Cure, when you ask Allah to cure me from, he doesn't go out. He just stays there, does his business. He might leave afterwards, come back in and does some stuff inside the person and doing things. He's doing things, And I think actually when I saw this, I said, you know what? He's doing this to a lot of people, but people don't know about it. That's the thing. Because why? They don't know anything about Ruqya diagnosis, or they don't believe that it's correct to do that. They think maybe it's a bid'ah to be doing Ruqya diagnosis. Sahaba never did Ruqya diagnosis. That's true. The Sahaba never did Ruqya diagnosis. That's true. But the Sahaba never reacted to Ruqya. So how do you describe the reactions then to Ruqya? Why do we get reactions to Ruqya then? Try to explain that. If you're saying that the Sahaba we don't do Ruqya diagnosis, okay then. Your Ruqya is like the Sahaba. You're saying, yes, our Ruqya is like the Sahaba. Okay, why do you react to Ruqya? And the Sahaba never reacted to Ruqya? Answer that. You can't answer that, can you really? So they don't know. So people have. I'm quite sure he's in other people. He's in these two people. He did this, so he's in other people as well. I'm quite sure he's doing things damaging, and he jumps out. He's not going to stay there too long. He might jump. They go there, save maybe half an hour, do what he want, go see somebody else, jump, doing. He's busy, So then he's in the brother. And I remember I was on a train, and he sent me this message on the WhatsApp. I said, "Wow, subhanallah, he's in him." So what do I do? What do I do? I said, "What are the intentions that you've been using against him?" And I said, I think there's a problem with the intention here. You're asking Allah to punish him. So it's Allah punished Iblis inside me or something like that. I said, what is too ambiguous? What do you mean by punish? I said, we know that the jinn burn. So I said to him, leave that off. Do this, use this intention. Oh Allah, burn Iblis as much as necessary so he gets out of me, basically. So I try this sort of falak and nas to see what happens to you there, brother. He said, as soon as he started reading it, gone. He felt the difference. Yeah, Said, he's gone. So alhamdulillah. Okay, we've got something here now, haven't we? Funny thing is, the brother also told me, Said, you know what? Every time I would do the sajda, he would jump out. I would feel him jumping out. Then when I finished, he comes back inside again. Interesting. Well, Iblis, he doesn't like doing sajda, does he? I'd curse him. So, if it weren't for Ruqya diagnosis, we wouldn't know what to do here. So that intention, because kill is not going to work with Iblis. If it's asking, I want to kill Iblis, kill, because if we didn't know what it was, we said kill. Which is always, it's not important to know what kind of jinn it is. No, you just got to do the treatment. Just do the treatment, as some people do. Just treat yourself. Don't forget it. Don't worry about what the details of the jinn are. No, very important. If we didn't know it was, if we needed to know it was Iblis. Once we knew it was Iblis, the intention, kill is not going to work for Iblis. Burn worked, as this happened to this brother. And then that brother started using that burn Ruqya on him. And you know what? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, he's not been back since. Feeling the burn. He's not coming back. Been 2 months now. Not heard anything from him. He was quite regularly my patients. Iblis, I got to check him and then I've not heard anything from him. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Nothing. So that it works. And that just shows you the importance of doing the Ruqya diagnosis. And finding out what exactly you're suffering for. Why? So then you can do a proper treatment. You can do proper treatment on yourself. You see. Once you know what you've got, you can do proper treatment. I talk all about this, the benefits of Ruqya diagnosis, that in the article. So if you go to the article, importance of Ruqya diagnosis on my website, and you can watch the video also advanced Ruqya diagnosis, you know, and you can even check out the self-diagnostic notes there, you know, and check those things out. You know, it basically shows you how to do the diagnosis on yourself. There's another issue here which is very important as well here. These people who do sahirs, what they do, and which we found out recently, and I've got a video on here. I don't know which is, maybe it's one of the, I did it two months back, I think. It's on here anyway, on this YouTube channel. I talked about Kabal sihr, but we discovered this thing which I called Kabal sihr. It's the best, I couldn't think of any other name for it, so we just left it like that, Kabal sihr. And that, what that is, got nothing to do with Kabbalah. Forget that. It's just like, this is like what I call like elite sihr. And what that is, they've tweaked the sihr because these people have got knowledge. They talk to Iblis, they talk to the jinn, like I'm talking to you right now. These people talk to their jinn, and they plan and do things. So they talk, have a discussion. Okay, the Raqis are working out, we've got sihr because of they use the Quranic ayahs, and then they of sihr, and then they know that they've got sihr. Okay, so what we're going to do here then, we've got to work something out so they can't pick it up. So what they do then, they come up with this Kabal sihr. And what that is, basically still sihr, but they've tweaked it a little bit. So it might not involve a ta'weed, for instance. It might not there'll be a ta'weed there, but it might, there's little changes they've done to it. These devils, Iblis and his army, they've done some changes to it, so it's not exactly the same as the sihr which you find in the Quran, which is described in the Quran and the Sunnah. And why do they do that? So you can't pick it up when you read the Ruqya. You see? So if you're reading the Quranic ayahs and you got your own definition of sihr, like what are you reading for? I'm reading for the sihr which was, you know, described in the time of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the Quran. You know, you got that definition of it. They know that definition is not going to work now because they've developed, they're doing other things. So when you read the Ruqya diagnosis, you don't pick it up. Because your definition of, if it would be picked up with the Quranic ayah if your definition of it was broad, but they know, and they're going to obviously do trial and error, and they're going to see if it works. When the Raqis are reading, of, I'm thinking of sihr which was done, you know, 1,400 years ago. That's what's in their heart, you know. When you break it down, you look at them and say, or they've got some ideas of the sihr has got some sort of contract. It has to have the contract. Doesn't have no contract there. It's not sihr or something like this. You know, contract between the jinn and the man. You know, you don't need it. There doesn't have to be a contract between for the sihr. It doesn't have to be a contract between the jinn and the sahir. We know this. How do we know this? Because Iblis himself can do sihr on you without any humans. The jinn themselves can do sihr on you without having any humans. So that element is not there. So some of the brothers are maybe thinking, oh, the sihr has one, that patient that you can see in that video, he had that definition of sihr. If you got that definition of sihr like that, you're not going to pick it up. So what you've got to pick, there's a way of picking up. So you've got to pick it up without thinking of that. Am I dealing with the person suffering from sihr other than the sihr that is described in the Quran and the Sunnah? And then you get reactions, and then you can pick it up like that. You see. For more information, please go look at that video on Kabal sihr. Tayyib. Right. Where were we? Right, yeah. Right, let's go look at this case. So, when we're dealing with this Imam's case, the one moment what we can learn from this story. So I did the diagnosis on this sister online. Obviously, the camera's off. I can't see that what's going on. But when I started reading the diagnosis, okay, let's do general sihr diagnosis. See if there's any sihr there for a start. So we did the diagnosis for sihr. And I'm reading, and then 10 minutes into it or so. Okay, stop, that's enough. Got a reaction. Okay, what was your reaction? She says, I think she felt something in her body, and she said, I actually saw the man who I think has done the sihr on me. I said, okay, good, all right, good. So the nice step back, so I thought, and I was thinking, she did tell me back in the past, so and so did sihr on her. I wonder. Remember, so I said, let's just because she's mentioned them a few times, let me see if that's the case. So I said, okay, get your reference point. I'm not telling her what I'm doing, and sometimes it's good to do that, you know. So just get your reference point, and you make sure that they're not thinking of other things also. Just make a general intention that you're accepting my ruqya. Don't think of sihr, I'm listening for sihr, because that will affect the diagnosis. That'll cause interference, you see. So you'll have, if I'm reading for sihr, for instance, and then she's thinking of hasad, we might not get any reactions because the intention's not in line. How do we know this? Well, we know this from people listening to ruqya. And the ruqya is like, for instance, Sheikh Muhammad Shawi, rahimullah. From what I remember, he doesn't have a video, or what's his name? He's not read ruqya on this for just teaching purposes. When he was reading the Quran, he didn't read it. I mean, from what I know, he's not reading with the intention of ruqya. Okay, so if you listen to that and then you have the intention of hasad or sihr or something like that, and as you're listening to it, then it will affect you. But if you just sit there and you just listen to it, you won't have any effect from it unless you make the intention for that, you see. Dave, so what it is, I told the sister, look, just accept my ruqya. She accepted the ruqya, good. And then I read. I was thinking, let's show me if he's got any sihr from so and so. Big reaction. I said, oh, subhanallah. And I have to be honest, I was shocked. It was like I was shocked when I found Iblis in that brother. So then I said, okay, let's do that again. I'm saying that to myself. Get your reference point again. I'm not telling her what I'm doing again. I'm going to do that. We're going to check. I want to check for something. Okay, I'm ready. Read again. Bang, big reaction. So I confirmed it. I said, wow, subhanallah, bihamdi. Yeah. You've got, so then at the end I had to tell her, yeah, you know what, you've got sihr from so and so. Yeah, I told you. Yeah, I'm sorry, and I have to be honest, and I had to apologize to the sister because she did tell me that so and so. Sometimes you're just not going to believe this. I had another sister as well saying to me, oh, so and so does zina, like that, coming out like that with this information. So I'm thinking, what's going on here, man? So sometimes you're not going to really think about these things, you see. So what that other sister said to me, and then I was thinking, okay, let me check if she's got actually the sihr to do zina. You see, she's thinking, I think she was thinking I've got the sihr to marry him. I said, no. I was thinking, no, that's not happening. I didn't check for that, but I don't think that's happening. So we did the diagnosis to see if she's got sihr to do zina with him, basically. And she reacted to that. I said, there you go. Because what you have to understand, sihr is not like you go to when you read some books of sihr and that, or ruqya and that, it's only 7 forms of sihr or something like that. Well, you can have sihr to do anything. You could just tell the jinn to make you do anything. Make the jinns buy so and so a Rolls Royce car, whatever it is. You can have these things happen. So it's not fixed in that sense, And the way you work out what kind of sihr you've got is that you look at your life and see what you're suffering from. I'm angry towards my wife. Oh, that might be a sign that you got sihr of a divorce. Check that. You check that. So I've got issues of, I feel very sick. Well, see if you've got sihr to make you feel sick. I've got issues of in my life. I've got sihr like I don't want to go to work. I don't feel like going to work. Well, let's see if you've got sihr to stop you going to work. And you find and you react. Okay, then you've got that sihr. You see. So the sister had that sihr to do zina with him. Okay. And when we talked and did more diagnoses and stuff, we realized the sihr was given to her by some person, and she drank the thing, and she drank that thing, and then that person's telling the sheikh, you got to marry the sheikh. You have to marry the sheikh. Trying to convince her to marry the sheikh. But alhamdulillah, the sister wasn't really interested. She didn't want to get involved with that. You see, But it can happen, you see, and people do sadly fall into that and think, sheikh, and then they end up marrying the sheikh. You see, you're not going to get, and they convince them with things like, this is an opportunity. The scholars are, the scholars are the inheritors of the prophets, which is true. The best people on the earth, are after the prophets are the scholars, which is true. The most beloved creatures on the earth after the prophets are the scholars, which is true. The genuine scholars of Allah, they're the ones who are protecting the deen. They are the real alpha males, if you want to know who that is, because I see people thinking that certain people are the alpha males, or whatever. You got big muscles or whatever it is. No. This alpha male in this dunya is the one Allah loves the most. Who are the ones that Allah loves the most? The scholars. Khalas. I'm not going to even give you evidence for that. If you don't know if you're unsure about that, then really you need to study your religion. really. It's the scholars. The most beloved creatures on this earth to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right now as I'm speaking, scholars. Could be a sister as well who's a scholar. Scholars, they are the ones. And that's, so that's why, and they will use this kind of evidence to convince these sisters to marry this sheikh, you see, sadly. Okay, looking at that, what I want to do now is I want to give you some sort of scenarios of how such things can happen, where some sort of sheikh is doing zina with women, and how can these things sort of happen? What's going on here, or how can he get these women and they fall for him and do things? What? I'll give you these scenarios, and these scenarios, all this information. I can't give you the details how I've got this information, because if I start doing that, because I've talked about this about past, people maybe try to work out who it is, especially my friends and family, and I don't want that to happen. So I can't really give you how I got this information. Okay, some of the I'm extrapolating, working things out. It's like what I've got here is like a jigsaw, and I'm putting things together. I said, oh my God, put that there. What that means? Oh, that's why he did that. So it's like a jigsaw which I've put together. I would say 50 to 70% of it is correct. Well, if it's 50 to 70% of what's happening, it's good enough. So it's for you, maybe, so you can take some lessons for this. So if you see this kind of activity happening, then you know that, hey, you have to be careful, and you have to warn the sister about this situation, you see, and families, if you see other families, this happening to families, you have to be careful, you see. So this is like based on private conversations, or taken from, Islamically, I got this information. Not like something I'm overhearing people, or I'm in from haram means. No, these are people sometimes talking to me and telling me things, you see. And then I put it together from what I know from other experience of dealing with other sahirs, and I can get an idea of, okay, this is probably how it's done, you see. So what I want you to do with this scenario, so you look at them, see what I'm saying here, learn from them, and see if you can apply that to other situations, and see if you can see any similar sort of scenarios or stories around, you see, with these sheikhs, you see, Dave, let's look at the first one. So let's look at this first sort of scenario. Young virgin, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Young girl, wears hijab. She's just practiced. She's not a revert sister. Okay, she's not a revert. She's already listening to the sheikhs, and goes to the talks. She goes to the talks, and so she's already into the sort of sheikh as well already. She's listening to his talks and stuff like this. So, and the reason why they will target somebody like this, it's good for them to target somebody like this from their side, is that this person's already into me, sort of a bit. She likes my talks, listens to me and that. So if sihr is done on her, and then she starts feeling in love with the sheikh, she'll just turn around, or her family even turn. Well, it's bound to happen, isn't it? The sheikh, he's close to Allah. What can I do? These feelings are from Allah. That's what's happened here. You see, so it all looks natural. You see, so they'll target that sort of sister, because of that easy target. And they really will go for those ones who are really enthusiastic. You see, so maybe what we can take from that is that those sisters who sit in the front row and they're really into it and stuff like that, I would say maybe better to learn online through the sheikh. Still learn from the sheikh, and don't necessarily what is it show that much enthusiasm when you're sitting and learning from the sheikh, because you don't know. If you've got some feelings and that, keep that hidden. You don't need to express that. He doesn't need to see that, because he's watching you. He's seeing who's showing more enthusiasm, who's really into the talk, he's having a look. You have to be careful. Don't just keep certain things. You enjoy the talk, khalas, yeah, it's good. Don't let him know certain things about you. Keep that to yourself, because you really don't know the sheikh properly. When you can really verify and know that this is really a genuine sheikh, he really fears Allah, my father's checked him out, everybody's checked him out, nothing negative about this person, then that's something different. But right now, you don't know too much, so be careful with it, you see. So like I said, they target sisters like that because it all looks natural. It all looks natural, and she's not going to really complain if she suddenly starts feeling in love with the Sheikh. So, well, it's bound to happen, isn't it? This must be from Allah, because I'm listening to his talks and that. I'm really into him. You see, that's what happens. You see. She might have contacted that sister, a particular sister, when she's got the sihr inside her. She's got that sihr. She's into the Sheikh. She's feeling in love with the Sheikh. She can't control herself, but it's very difficult. She has to contact the Sheikh, ask him some questions, and he sees she's quite enthusiastic and she's into it. She's learning from him and that, asking him questions and that. So he keeps in contact with her. You see, and he checks on her. Who's checking on her? Well, he personally doesn't need to check on her. He's got his jinns checking on her, because he's put sihr on her. So she's got jinns inside her, and they will come back, and the guard jinns will come back and report to him saying, how is it going? What's she done? What's she doing? And stuff like this. How is she getting on? And they will just keep in touch. Keep in touch. The sihr could be done probably over the phone while speaking to the Sheikh, or through WhatsApp, through email, or one of those things. Or maybe some other female woman, gives it a drink or whatever, like what happened to the case I was dealing with. That other case was a revert sister, but what I'm talking about here is not revert sister, but that case where I told you where we worked out and sister seeing that Sheikh's face and that was a revert sister. Okay, so the sihr is done on her. She's in love with the Sheikh. She can't help herself. Very difficult. And sometimes it can be really bad. This sihr of love, to the point where the person's crying. They've got to have the Sheikh. She's got to have the Sheikh. There's no way out. Try to think. Now, when I was a kid, I remember seeing these people crazy about these singers and that. In the 60s, I think it was the Beatles actually. And the women will be tearing their hair out and they're going mad. And you look at them and say, this is crazy. I mean, it's quite scary when you see it. Beatles mania, whatever they used to call it. It's quite crazy. Well, something similar to that happens here in these situations. When something like that will happen is when the father's trying to tell the sister, no, we can't give you can't marry to him. No, I need him. Oh, that will manifest itself like that. The sihr the jinn will manifest itself like that. You see, so she'll behave like this. I once saw one sister. Actually, this was like a Sufi sister. Because me and my friend, we went to we needed to pray Jumu'ah. We're working in London somewhere. We got lost. We need to go pray Jumu'ah. We found a mosque and went in there, and it just looked weird. I said, and I was thinking, this is maybe Dear Bondi, Master, we can pray in here. And I said, what? It looks a bit dark in here, man. Just it feels dark. Went over, looked at the minbar. That minbar looks dodgy, man. Come back outside, see some brother with big tasbih, size of like tennis balls. He looked like a revert. Poor brother. I felt sorry for him. Had like a massive bearskin thing on, and then we see some little woman, revert sister as well. Sheikh, the Sheikh. I said, oh my word. I said, dude, this is not right, akhi. Let's get out of here, man. Let's go find another mosque. We ran out. That was I remember that, and alhamdulillah, I never forgot that, because I seeing that in the Sufi sister like that, poor Sufi sister revert. I saw the same thing in the Salafi sister. The Sheikh. Same thing. I'm thinking about it. That both got probably sihr, man. Probably sihr. And what that is with that Salafi sister is like, with that Salafi sister, no other man is going to satisfy me. I need the Sheikh. And I'm talking about here physically intimacy. Don't go into details. You can imagine what I'm talking about here, right? It's only the Sheikh. It has to be the Sheikh. You see? So what happens in this situation here? You've got this, so the sister, the young Muslim sister, like we said, virgin, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. She's listening to him. Now she's got a sihr and that. And now she goes to her dad. She'll go to her dad, and the father is forced to marry her to the Sheikh. forced, because she's going like, oh, I need him, there's no other ways, it has to be done, and he's got no evidence to say that the sheikh is bad, is it? He got no evidence. He's not done Ruqya diagnosis. You know what I think sometimes? I've got a hunch, and I might be wrong, but it looks like I might be right, because when I look at the only people I've seen who keep talking about Ruqya, that guy's side, he do crazy stuff, he's not right, now doing Ruqya diagnosis, it's people sort of related to this people who are on that understanding of Islam, who follow that person. They're the ones who always talk about me behind my back. And this is probably the reason why this probably brother's, this Sheikh, this father is not going to do Ruqya diagnosis. Why? Because we've been told, who's this idiot Said Abdullah in London, Ruqya diagnosis? Who's he? Is he Sheikh? Is he studying anywhere? He can't read the Quran properly. He's no good. He can't speak Arabic properly. This and that and this and that. You listening to him? Don't listen to him. Listen to the Sheikh. Listen to the Sheikh. You know, marry your daughter now to the Sheikh. So the brother, he's got no other evidence, nothing's there. He's not going to definitely come to me. He ain't going to listen to me. No, and won't listen to me. He has married his young virgin daughter to the Sheikh. Gone. And I'm sorry to say this, but it'll be probably, Bangladeshi, Pakistani, Indian sister. This, I mean, from what I've known, can't give you details on it. It looks like that's what would happen to them. And that's what has happened. You see, poor brother, and and the thing is, they marry. Father was forced; he couldn't do anything, no evidence. Yeah, so he's married a young woman. So the Sheikh's buzzing. He's got his young woman. He's got his young bride, virgin. Sheikh likes his virgins. Needs to have a new one every few months. You see? And fathers don't know what to do. Daughters are going crazy for the Sheikh. So then the sister goes off to the thing. She's a pious woman. She's got sihr though. She doesn't understand what this is. Can't understand that what's these feelings, and it must be love. It must be from Allah that I love the Sheikh and this. What's going on here? No, it's not from love. From this. That's not the case. It's not the case. I wrote a whole article, and it's the article which is the most read on my website, the waswas from the possessing jinn and qareen. It shows you how they actually do it. So they actually can read your mind. They can they generate feelings in your heart and emotions. So they put love in your heart for someone. You don't put hate in someone for somebody. And they can read your mind. Some people think that's not the case, but we learn it from experience. There's actually, I quoted actually Bin Baz rahimahullah and Ibn Taymiyyah talking about that. Yeah, they can read your mind. They can read your mind, and we know this from experience. I mean, when I had my jinn, I used to think that they can't read my mind. But when I saw the reality of it, I was like, for instance, I'd be like, some nights I'll be thinking, I need to pray, go pray tahajjud, and then I'll hear another voice, no, pray later. Hey man, that wasn't me. It sounded like me. Let's pray, just go pray. Then it happened again. So, come on, I nearly missed tahajjud. Oh, pray later. I'll pray later. You get the same thing happening. It's what I call in that article the impersonating whisper. So they will impersonate how you speak to yourself in your heart. They're not going to talk like in the third person. Oh, you don't need to pray now. Don't say you, and that would say I need to. It'll be in the first person, as if you're talking to yourself. And that's the confusing thing about it. You see. So what you have here is the sister has all these feelings. She doesn't understand what's going on because she's never really been taught about waswas, and I never was taught about waswas. As I say at the beginning of the article, I never knew anything about it. If I knew anything about waswas, I wouldn't know. Okay, Said, you've got sihr. That's what this is. These are crazy feelings. You've got sihr. But I didn't know. Subhanallah, bihamdi. So what would happen in this scenario? The sister would go to the Sheikh's house, live in Sheikh for 3 days and that. Then he probably tries to do something haram with her. I'm going to mention that haram thing. Okay, I mean, hopefully there are no children here, aren't they? So maybe the Sheikh wants to do anal sex with her. Okay, sorry to say it if I've offended people, but I've told you this is not for children. Children should be listening to this. So he's trying to convince her. It's all right. So he's going to be talking about, no, it's not like that. What is haram is that, look, if actually ejaculating there, it's not really haram in that, so it confuses her, doesn't have much knowledge on this. So is that what it is? Because it doesn't say in the hadith about this and that. Look, not mentioned in the hadith about ejaculation though, it isn't really there. So, oh no, you're right, Sheikh, this and that. Can't talk to her dad about it, she's stuck, she's embarrassed, what do I do? I'm in a serious situation here, you know. Finally, somehow, and by the rahmah of Allah, the Sheikh gets tired of her. And that's just the mercy of Allah on the poor sister. So he decides to divorce her and get rid of her. Why did he divorce her? Well, his idea was fun. Finished. She's not a virgin anymore. Done what he had to do, and it's finished. So send her back to the father. You see, subhanallah. Now let's save us from these things. Right. So what you've got to do there in that situation, what should be done, is that the father needs to do the Ruqya diagnosis. Find out what's going on here. Don't just immediately give your daughter to these sheikhs, no matter who he is. Find out what's going on. Why do you love the sheikh so much? Why is she behaving like that? The sheikh. I need the sheikh. Why? It's too much. You know? And that reaction will only happen when the father sort of said, stop, no, I'm going to give it to this sheikh. You know? That's when that will happen. You see? And if you're living in Muslim countries, what would happen there then? The woman could just rush off to the, it's worse in non-Muslim countries, just rush off with the sheikh. You can't, the father's sort of forced in the end to do it, you see. The other thing I just remembered now with regards to the Ruqya diagnosis, it might not even work on the poor sister. Why wouldn't it work? Because she herself doesn't want the Ruqya. So when you tell her to sit down, okay, I'm going to read Ruqya, I just want to check what you've got. Oh, I haven't got, this is love, it's from Allah, because he's a sheikh, that's why. Go on, read, side, read. And you read, no reactions. So see, I told you, didn't I? This is love. It's from Allah. You know, he's the real sheikh. He's the real deal. Oh, that's one. Side is not reacting. Did you accept the Ruqya? What do you mean accept the Ruqya? Did you accept the Ruqya, sister? No, she's not accepted the Ruqya because she doesn't believe that she's got anything. So it's impossible to try to convince her that she's got something. She's not going to believe us. Khalas, and we just have to sort of, what can we do? The Ruqya is only going to really work when you yourself want to know the answers. When you get to that situation, you can find out. Even, I'm just dealing with a case now. Poor sister doesn't know what to do. Usually it's the brothers. Usually it's the brothers who are like this, where you try to say, look, let me just read Ruqya and see if before you divorce the wife, let's see what's happening. The reason they target the brothers for this sihr of divorce, mostly, that's what I've seen from my experience, I had that myself, is because they know that the brothers are the one talaq who say the divorce. So I'll just go to the brothers. Easy. Get him to say the divorce and the thing's finished. Case closed. You see? So you find that the brothers are the ones who usually, they can't believe that they've got this. Impossible. How can I have sihr? I do my adhkar, I do all of this stuff. Impossible that I have sihr. This is not sihr. I need to, it is not enough to do sihr. You know? Me wanted another wife, this and that, and it can't be absolutely nothing to do with sihr. No, you can have sihr even. They'll make you try to take a second wife because it's going to cause problems between you and your wife. You know? And it's going to cause problems. You start fighting. And then you're going to, it might, and that's going to itself make it worse, the whole situation worse, you see. You know? I mean, I'm so stressed, I can't even say aminos. I can't even say the word now. I'm so stressed with this, and I'm so angry as well, because people are not doing diagnosis. Young sisters are going to these sheikhs, losing their virginity, and then we find it difficult to go get them married again. And the other thing is, my wife is from Pakistan, and family in-laws are and this and so you got people, and when in Bangladesh, I'm in the Bangladeshi community here, and I know that when what happens is that if this young virgin gets divorced, it's difficult to get married again. That's the way it is, and and it just makes me very angry. Nobody, and they don't want to do Ruqya diagnosis to find out what's going on because the Sheikh told us not to do it. Sheikh said it's bid'ah. Sheikh said it's bid'ah. The Sahaba never did it. So he divorces her. Alhamdulillah. So that's how the sister got out of that one. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Another thing. So the only solution for that would be again to do the Ruqya diagnosis. Find out what's going on, see what's happening. But you got to try to get her to accept it though. You see. Another situation. Young revert sister. Why do they like I said before? Why do they Why do they target the revert sisters? Because of the level of ilm, it's not much. And also when she comes to the talks and that, and when she's, basically, he have a good look. Not wearing proper hijab, is she? So he's having a good look. He has a good look, and he can see everything, and he can tell. And the jinns will tell him, yeah, that's ready, that one for you, and then he will send the jinn to her, you see. So maybe he'll put the sihr on her after the talk, after seeing her at the talk, had a good look, and then he just talks to the jinn. And what he would do, how he would talk to the jinn, he's not going to be talking like this, like this, no. Be talking in the mind. That's how they do it. So he'll have a conversation with his jinn in the mind. And in the mind will be like, end of the third row, wearing the denim jacket. End of the third row, wearing the denim jacket. That's the one. So now that's it. And he just sends jinn to her, and then they just possess her. That's it. Because sometimes you don't need to drink anything like that. The sahir will just send you a jinni, and that's it. That goes inside you, and that's it. The sihr is done. You see? So that's how you put the sihr on her. And then again, same sister, she'll go crazy for the sheikh. So I was talking to him, say same sort of situation, situation with this situation. But because she's a revert, doesn't know too much about the knowledge and that, has not much knowledge, she might end up doing some haram like the other revert was doing, masturbating. She might do that because she needs to relieve herself. She's been maybe quite active, maybe in Jahiliyyah. Now in Islam, she's not really going to. Obviously, she's not doing zina, but now it's overwhelming for her. It's too much. The jinns are increasing it for her. It's a lot. She doesn't know what to do. So what she do? She starts actually doing that. She starts masturbation actually, And it gets to a point where it's really bad, She can't help herself. You see. And then she might have actually phoned the sheikh and asked him, look, sheikh, what can I do? I'm not married. I'm new revert. What can I do? Am I allowed to masturbate, basically? And he'll turn around and say, it's makruh, but what can you do? You have to stop yourself falling into zina, isn't it? So I get really angry when I see some of these YouTube videos of things, people saying that it's okay to do this thing. Not okay to do this thing. It's not okay. Keep well away from that thing. Keep well away from that thing. I've seen, you know what the evidence is? I think the evidences are quite clear on the side saying it's haram. I've seen people doing that, and what it was, brothers and sisters fall into that thing. I've dealt with cases like that, and the jinn is speaking and talking. It's got control of the person. How did the jinn get control of people? I've talked about this in my article, How Sins Affect Possessed Muslims. They make you fall into sins so they can take control of you, and then do what the sheikhs want, do what the sahir wants, So you end up doing that. We've seen cases when we've told the patients, look, stop. What's our side? This jinn keeps talking, making noises. I don't know what to do. I said, you doing any haram? And you work out. Sometimes that's very embarrassing to talk about, but I have to mention it sometimes. Say, brother, look, I'm going to say something to you. Are you doing that thing? You know what I'm talking about, brother, that secret sin. Are you doing that thing? Yes, I'm doing that. You need to stop that thing. But they so Sheikhs, it's all right. I'm not married. I'm at university, man. What am I supposed to be doing? You're supposed to fast. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to fast. That's what the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. The only thing that thing was back then, that this issue, this secret sin wasn't available, wasn't done back in those times. The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't know about it. He obviously did. But what did he tell the people to do? Fast. So that's what I'm telling you to do, brother. Fast. That's what you need to do. You see? So, subhanallah bihamdi. And there was another point here which I forgot to mention. When you got these jinns inside you, they can make the zina and they can make the masturbation, I don't know how to say it, but very extreme and very addictive. People cannot stop. I don't want to say enjoyable because I don't like saying that. Okay, so it becomes very addictive, and that one of the is there is a condition actually. Persistent genital arousal disorder or syndrome. So what it is, the jinn somehow got into the place with the body, and it's playing with and fondling the private parts, and the person gets really affected. So much so, they actually the jinns can actually make them have orgasm, and you find that some non-Muslim women, even the Muslim women, constant orgasm, not so maybe 300 a day. Some people might turn around and say, "Oh, that's wonderful to have this." As some Muslims, non-Muslims, are like that. No, it's good to have this. I can't even have one. Oh, I want to have 300. You don't want to be having this. This is like a disease. This is illness from the jinn, from what I've seen, the cases I've dealt with, looks like it's from the jinn. Could it be from some other medical problem? Like, yes, maybe, could be. But we will use Ruqya diagnosis to work out what's going on. Alhamdulillah. So somebody, and like that revert sister with that Wisam case, maybe had the same sort of thing. Jinn's gone there causing these problems, and that, and that's why she's doing that thing. Could be, Allah knows best. So they cause a lot of problems, you see. Then you've got they'll probably start talking about certain things and stuff like this, and next thing you know, the sisters got issues, and then the issue will come back. Is it another question might be, am I allowed to think of people while I'm actually doing this masturbation thing? Is it? And the Sheikh might say, oh well, difference of opinion. It's only a thought. You're not really doing anything. You're not really doing it, are you? So that will happen. And what has happened is that the jinns are making her only think about that Sheikh, nobody else. So she's not going to get any relief now from this masturbation now, unless she starts thinking of the Sheikh. So the waswas is coming on strong, and she's just thinking about the Sheikh. That's all she's thinking of. It got to a point where she just thinks of the Sheikh, and she has to think of the Sheikh in order while she's doing that act. So, and one thing leads another. I don't want to go into all of the details because it's just too much for me to go into there. But the sister will end the end, meet the Sheikh in the hotel, and then maybe talk about the problems. I can't stop thinking about you. What gonna do? They probably say, I can't marry you right now. They go to a hotel room and they said, let me give you some advice. Next thing you know, because she's been doing this regular masturbation, it's a sin. It adds up. Now the jinn, what they can do, they can completely take over her. She has no chance, and they can take full control of her. And then so the jinn will completely appear. And then what they will do, take the clothes off, and that's it. And then the Sheikh will do what he has to do. You see. How does the Sheikh know that the woman's got to that level of sinning so that he can actually just tell the jinn, take over? Well, the jinns are reporting to him, aren't they? Poor sister revert, she's not doing protection of card, is she? So, that's what's happened there, and poor sister there, she ends up doing something like that to the Sheikh, you see? And sister will be totally blacked out in some situations, Some situation will be totally blacked out. She won't even remember any of it, and she'll just get up seeing that, and she won't know that has happened. You see, other situations where what might happen is that it will be like as patients say, it's like as if he stepped back, and then the jinn took over, and so they're watching everything. They can see everything, but they can't do anything about it. And then after it's all finished, maybe the Sheikh will say, well, it's not my fault. You were doing these things to me. Look what you did to me. I just failed. I couldn't help myself. So then she'll feel guilty. Turn it on her. She'll start feeling guilty. Oh, the Sheikh, I'm so sorry about this. I don't know what happened to me. I don't know what overcame me. I did this and this and this. Sister, you destroyed my dawah. You're going to destroy everything for me. You must. No, Sheikh, don't worry. I'll keep all this to myself. Nobody's going to find out about these things. SubhanAllah. Yeah, we don't hear about it. And we don't hear about it, sadly. Now, this issue of the jinn taking over, some people say, what's all these crazy stories you're coming out with, Said? No, it happens. We know a case where complete the jinn will take over the sister, goes outside, middle of the night, comes back in. So 1 second she's in the kitchen, all gone black, comes back, she's in the bedroom. What happened there? What's the difference? Looks at herself, notices a load of semen on her. She's a married woman, so she knows what semen is. Husband's not around. Where's that from? Sees the doors unlocked and stuff like that, realizes, works out, I went outside. Yep. Jinn complete takeover. Complete takeover of the jinn, and the jinn did what it did. You see, na'udhu billah min dhalik. You see, so these things like this can happen where the person jinn can take over, and they will do it, and then he will do his business. Sheikh will do his business when the jinn take completely over. And like I said, he will know when that is, when she's ready for that. When the jinn tell him, the jinn will tell him that so and so is ready now. Okay, where are we now? Right. It can also happen to married sisters, these things. Going back to the revert sisters, again, the same situation. What you got to do in that situation, if you notice things like that happening, Ruqya diagnosis to find out what exactly is going on. Is this real, genuine love? What's going on here? Again, Ruqya diagnosis is going to solve that problem. Let's go into another one, another story. married victim. Okay, Sheikh, she meets the Sheikh, the family meet the Sheikh meets the gorgeous wife through the husband. Oh, Sheikh, this is my family, there's my kids in it. Oh, well done. Yeah. They visit the Sheikh. The Sheikh visits them in their house and that. Sheikh wants the wife. So what happens there? He will do sihr on the wife, and also on the husband. So the husband's got something as well. You see. What happens next? It's crazy. Well, we'll have to talk about this, and we've got something to prove this as well. There's a fatwa, and we don't think, just to prove that I'm not. And these are not things I'm just making up and stuff like that. Like I said, it was some extrapolation there, but these things like this do happen. Okay, things like this do happen. So what happens? So they both got sihr now, the husband and wife, because Sheikh wants that gorgeous wife. What happens now? The husband and wife have intimacy problems. Wife cannot climax anymore because of the sihr. She can't have it. What they're doing in bed is not working. Husband's maybe getting his enjoyment, but the wife nothing. She cannot climax. Okay, wife becomes extremely sexually frustrated. Okay, she becomes extremely sexually frustrated. So the sihr has taken her to a level she's not getting any enjoyment whatsoever. Now, I'm going to read where I've got it here. The similar scenario of this, which we've got on which was a fatwa here on Islam QA, and I'll try and put the link in the comments, not in the comments, in the description. Comments are off on these videos. I can't be dealing with any comments really. It's difficult for me to get back to people. Plus, I don't want to be dealing with any fanboys for Sheikhs and that. I can't be dealing with that stuff. I realize I haven't got much patience really dealing with people, and when I'm dealing with this stuff, and I'm trying to tell people about these things, nobody wants to listen to me. I've got no time to talk to people. I haven't got much patience really. You see. Okay, so let's look at this. So I've just told you there was a case where the husband and wife have got the sihr. Sheikhs put on both of them. They can't have intimacy. Well, there's something similar like that on. If you don't believe that things like this happen, look at this. I'm going to read the story out. So let's read this fatwa out. So what's the title of this fatwa? Is it haram to think sexually? Okay. So then the sister says, we got married 3.5. We got married 3.5 years ago, and he is very good and very religiously committed. We worship Allah together as much as we can. Praise be to Allah. But the problem started with me from the beginning of the marriage. Whilst having intercourse, meaning sexual intercourse, he, meaning the husband, he had to tell me sexual stories, and I would use my imagination because I could not reach climax otherwise. Meaning the husband has to tell us stories. I'm telling you, that husband's got something as well, like this situation I'm describing to you here. The husband has to describe things in order for the wife to have climax, to have an orgasm. Okay? In order to feel satisfied, I have to fantasize. The problem with me is that I feel guilty every time after having intercourse because the images that I fantasize about stay with me. I never imagine myself with with any other person at all. Only people whom I do not know. Well, she's thinking about man, She's thinking about people. She's thinking about people, I told him about this problem, and he did not get angry. But I feel like it's like a kind of betrayal. What should be the Islamic ruling on this advice? Well, they sort of, the fatwa sort of at the end just says, it's not haram in the end. Really, that's what basically like makruh, you shouldn't be doing this thing. And give good advice, but there's no advice regarding, there's no advice really going Ruqya, sadly. When I looked at that, I thought, this is a case, it's not a case, man. What's going on? How come the Sheikhs know? Sheikhs don't know everything. Well, you find that a lot of the Sheikhs on here, and the Sheikhs you see on YouTube and all of that, they don't know too much about Ruqya, and what the jinn do to people, and what the jinn can do sexually and things like this, and dream interpretation. They don't know about these two topics. They don't know too much about. Other things they do know about, but when it goes into detail and things like that, they don't know, because look, that's my proof there. I'd read that, maybe another Iraqi will read that and say, hey, this is dangerous, this is sihr here, or this is like an ashik jinn in there. That's what, as soon as the Iraqi will read it, he'll come up with that. Iraqi and the Sunnah will know this straight away, that's it, that's happening. If you don't believe me, you send it, give it to other Iraqi, you tell me what they're thinking about that. They're not going to say go to at the end it's just go to a psychologist. Right? Just give good advice, but psychologist, but forget the psychologist. Let's go see the doctor. Let's see the Iraqi first of all and see what we can get. And then if it really is like that, then go see the doctor. Doctor afterwards, really. You see, because first of all, let's see if there's some sihr and jinn there on that. You see, so as you can see, this is a serious case. I think the husband in this situation has got sihr himself, because he's actually helping the sister. Sadly, I mean, it's crazy. Imagine that situation, brothers. You don't ask when you see stuff like this. Ask Allah to seek refuge in that. You don't want to be dealing with stuff like that. Imagine yourself. You have to tell your sister, your wife, about other men, in order for her to have climax. You're there. She's not thinking about you. She can't think about it. There's a blockage. She can't think about you. In order to relieve herself, she has to think about other men. Allah save us from this stuff. Right. طيب. So the sister, has to, and it gets to a point. Maybe going back to my scenario. So not this one, not that fatwa. Now leave that one alone. Like I said, I'll put the link on the. If you don't believe me, I'll put the link in the description, inshallah ta'ala. So the sister has to think of the sheikh. I mean, so in this situation, he got to the jinn, because the jinn are from the sheikh. Sheikh wants the sister. So the jinn now, the sheikh. What's his name? I'm getting confused now. The jinn from the sheikh confused the sister, so she's not only going to climax now with thinking about the sheikh, so she just has to think about the sheikh, okay? And it maybe even got to a point maybe where the husband has to describe the sheikh to her. Astaghfirullah, it might be even got like that. Or maybe he'll tell her to watch the YouTube channels as they're being intimate, because that's the only way to get her to relieve herself. I mean, if you've got something like this happening, you're going to the extremes of that, you've got to check yourself. When you get these crazy feelings to do certain things, check yourself for sihr first of all before you act upon any of those things. You see, now the sister might end up phoning the sheikh and might even tell him about what's going on. Her husband might even do it, and maybe she's making that intention to call, and then the sheikh will maybe answer the phone, and then he would say he knows already what's going on, because his jinn are telling him. So then before she can even actually say something, Sheikh, I've got really embarrassing issue to talk to you about. I don't know how I'm going to start this. Sheikh will interrupt and say, sister, don't worry, I know everything. Sheikh, how do you know what's going on? How do you know this? Is this jinn? What's going on here? No, it's not jinn. Firasa, that's what it is. Intuition, the Islamic intuition. That's how we know. Firasa, that's how we know. Oh my Sheikh, you're the Sheikh. You're the real man. Yes, Sheikh, this happened to me. What do I do? How do I solve this situation? Subhanallah bihamdi. So, what I don't want to go into this too much, but something will probably happen in there again. Maybe a hotel room or something like that. And then sister probably doesn't have too much knowledge, and he'll probably say, look, it's necessity, what can you do? You can think about it, don't look at that fatwa there, what's happening here, sisters are doing that, so you can think about me, when your husband, we've got to avoid divorce, your husband might divorce you, so what do I do, Sheikh? I can't feel anything today, it's very desperate for me and it's come to a point now, even thinking is not good enough for me, so the thinking, the jinns will turn it up, now she can't even climax, even thinking about the Sheikh. So it gets to a point where she has to finally say, you know what, I'm going to have to just, Sheikh, what can I do now? That's not even working anymore. He said, look, this is a case of necessity now, sister. In order to keep your marriage is one of those things we have to keep going, and it'll confuse her. She's out of her head anyway, because she's got sihr, can't even think straight, doesn't even know what's going on. And that's what I was saying to you about regards to that sister in that case with this Wisam brother, this imam or whatever. Probably confused out of her head, doesn't know what she's doing. Same thing here. So this sister will probably in the end just agree. Yes, Sheikh, I'm ready to do that deed. She'll end up doing zina. So it's okay. It's only once a month. We'll help. I'll help. We'll relieve you, and we're keeping your marriage going, sister. Isn't that wonderful that you're still married? All you have to do is just once a month, be with the Sheikh. Sheikh relieves you and you can stay married to your husband. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, it's wonderful. You know? If you don't believe me, look at that. Read that fact. Read that thing again. Read what I got there. Read that. Things like this are happening. Reason I didn't talk about these kind of things because I'm thinking sometimes people think I'm mad. They do think like, oh, you're a madman. You do. I remember people saying, oh, scaremongering. It's scaremongering the people that these things. Then don't talk about these things. I think that was a revert as well once. You know, sister. Sadly, I don't know what's happened to her. So why not save that one? All right. So, yeah. I mean, going back to those other three imams, I've just told you about. I'm doing those other three imams. I'm quite sure the other three imams are doing those things. Those imams who try to pretend to be pious Deobandi imams, they're doing the same sort of things with women, but we don't hear about it. Why don't we hear about it? Because the poor Pakistani sisters, Bangladeshi sisters, and Indian sisters, they don't talk about these things. They keep it quiet. They're not going to bring that. Because what it is, the families are going to blame her. You're the one who you seduced the Sheikh. You're the one who did it. It's your fault. Poor our Sheikh Maulana would never do things like this. You evil woman. And that's it. So now she's quiet. You're not going to say anything to her. You're not going to do anything. I'm not dealing with this, you know. She doesn't bring it up. So the Sheikhs are just, they're busy. I'm quite sure they're doing it. If this is Salafi one's doing it, Ahl al-Hadith and they're doing it, or Athari, he's doing it. Well, these imams I'm dealing with as well, they must be, because one of the first things these people do is women. That's what these sahirs do. Is one of the first things they do is the thing they deal with women. I'm dealing with another kafir in Sahir, this one in Germany. He's trying to get a revert sister as well. He's been trying to get her for a long time. And I remember the sister was saying that he showed her a website where he's got like hundreds of women he's got. You know, when he's done the sihr on them and he's done zina with them, he's filmed it, he's put it on there. He's got his own like porn channel. And they're just like willingly doing these things. So it can't go to the police because it's like I said, what's gone on there. It's like the other case I was saying where the jinn's completely taken over and they just willingly do it. So they're not like half asleep or anything like that. The people could, when the police look at that video, God, look, her eyes are open, aren't they? Oh, she's talking as well. And then probably got the jinn speaking through her as well. Yes, this is really good. I'm really enjoying myself. Things like that. So that video, that I don't know what the website is, but the sister said she saw the website. So that's why that person's not being arrested, because it looks like they're participating. They're involved with this stuff. You see, and they can't get out of that. So because if that goes to court, what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. You know. So men. One of the first things they got this kind of power, they're going to be going after women and doing this kind of sihr on them and getting these women. That's what they would do. You see, they're not gonna, money. They'll do money as well, but this is one of the main things they will go for: women, get women. You see, you know. So those imams, like I said, those imams, I'm quite sure they're doing the same thing. It's just not like this imam, but I've not come across it because I'm telling you, these poor sisters, these Pakistani, Bangladeshi sisters, Indian sisters. They're just keeping it quiet. They don't want to talk about it because it's just going to be too much for them, you know. And it's going to be taboo to get divorced, and then it's just not happening, isn't it? Really, very difficult. And some of them sadly just don't have any knowledge about this, you know. I remember one of my friends. He told me when he got married. His wife didn't know anything about it. Intimacy or anything like that, where babies come from. That's what he said to me. She absolutely nothing, no knowledge of it, no education whatsoever. He had to tell her what was going on, and he said, and she was quite shocked and quite sad and upset that when he described actually what the act is, what I've got to do to you, you've got to do to me. So she wants a baby, yeah, but when he described what's got to happen, shocked, you know. And he was like an Indian, Bangladeshi, or Pakistani brother. I don't say where he's from exactly, but that's one of those brothers, you know. Sadly. So, and he had to explain to his wife what it was, you know. So it just shows you that it's taboo subject. You're not going to talk about this. So imagine that poor sister like that. Wow, Allah save sisters, you know, getting and that's what probably these imams, these so-called Deobandi pious imams are dealing with poor sisters like that, you know. Not, just going to keep it quiet. You're not going to do anything, are they? You see. Let me go back to because brothers think that, and I've got a theory. I've only heard one case like this, but what I've got a theory. Have I covered everything? Let me just 1 second. Let me just make sure. I think I've covered everything. um, I've got a theory. And this is just a theory that I think is happening to brothers as well, but they're just too embarrassed to talk about it. So they're getting the sheikhs and things are abusing them as well, but they're just keeping it quiet. They don't want to talk about it, you know. So they fall into the same sort of sins, and then the jinn completely takes over them. And then the next thing you know, they're in a hotel with the sheikh, and they don't even know how they got there. And then the sheikh does his business with them. You see, you know. So yeah, I really honestly think. I mean, I remember I was dealing with one brother. Like I said, I'm just extrapolating from that situation because it's happening to sisters like this. Usually, when it's like that, it has to be the other side as well. They do same things happening there. He had one brother, not homosexual, and he's addicted to watching homosexual porn. Basically, he himself is not homosexual. No, he's not homosexual. He's not into this, but somehow suddenly he's into these videos, and then he explains to me that, look, you know what, man, I don't know what's going on here. It's like I need a man to basically, you know, sodomize me. That's what it is. That's what I'm into. That's what I basically want. You know what I mean? So he wants to be basically done by a man. Basically, that's what he wants. He wants to be sodomized. Basically, you know. So thinking about that case and the fact that he was addicted to it, I said this can happen to the brothers then. You know, Allah save us. So what I'm saying why I'm mentioning is this one. I don't want the brothers to think, oh, it's just weak women, weak sisters. They can't, you know, these women are weak. That's why these things happen to them. No, it can happen to us as well. So even when I heard that story, I just seek refuge in Allah. I say, yeah, brother, it could happen to me. It's only the mercy of Allah that it's not happened to me. And that's what the first thing you got to say with these brothers. When you're dealing with these sisters, they're going through a lot of trauma. You have to tell them that, yeah, I can do that. It's just the mercy of Allah that I've not fallen into it. Yes, I do sins. Alhamdulillah, that's something like that has not happened to me because I'm doing my adhkar and that, and I'm just praying Allah. But it could happen to me. Something like this could happen to me. I'm not immune from these things. And if I start being harsh, you dirty man, you filthy man, how can you even look at something like that? What's the matter with you? Are you a real Muslim? You can't talk to people like that. You've got to know that, you know, Allah's tested these people, or maybe punished them like this, but you can be like this as well. You can end up being like this, you see. So brothers have to be very careful with themselves as well, and don't just think that this thing where sheikhs are abusing or imams are abusing sisters. Oh, it's only happened to the sisters. This thing doesn't happen to it doesn't happen to us. It won't happen to us. No, it can happen to you. It can happen to you. You see. Yeah. And what I would suggest to the brothers in that situation, subhanallah, is if you don't end up being something like that with these sheikhs and they take advantage of you, you know, cover your awrah, man. Cover yourself properly, and don't wear tight thobes. I've got brothers, you know. I remember praying one place, you know. I don't mention where I prayed. Brother's got some tight thobe on him. Brother's not overweight, but he's got a very large backside, and that thing is tight. The thobe is tight as well. And I think something needs to be said here. He's a young brother. I didn't want to say anything. I talked to another brother and I said, what? Talked about it and told him. He said, "Side, they're having steroids in their backsides." I said, "Why are you wearing this?" Some shit. If the jinn see that, jinn are flying around. If they see that, one of these filthy sheikhs sees that, even a kafir sahir sees that, he might want to do something there. For the kafir sahir will be like, "Oh, this is something different, isn't it?" It's like he's got a nice white dress on as well, and it's nice and tight. I like that. They're watching you. I mean, that thing was so bad. I wanted to actually advise the brother. So I was thinking, I've got to say something. This is too much. I'm going to say something to him. So I go out and message, walking towards him. Next thing I know, so the thing's already tight. So the backside is sticking out like that. All right. Now what else he's got on now? He's got to put outside now. He's got to put a bomber jacket on as well. So tight bomber jacket. So now you can imagine it. You got the tight bomber jacket on, and then you got like that. It's like that. And I said, oh my word. I saw that. I couldn't even look. I said, forget it. I can't be talking to them. I see there's got young people around him. I said, no, what? I'm going to probably end up having a fight with him. He'll probably turn around. I can see. Look, they see him. Look, I don't risk it. I could see him that I could see him maybe turn around and say, "What, you've been looking at me," and I can't be dealing with that. And the way what I'm dealing with, I don't want to be. I'll end up maybe fighting with the person. You see, I'm trying to advise you, brother, and you're telling me I'm looking at you. Well, you must have looked at me, innit? You must have looked at me. Yeah. I think I've covered everything. Let me see 1 second. Sorry, excuse me. I'm just gonna make sure before I end this video that I have covered everything. Yeah. That case, did that one, I did that note. Revert, poor sister, yep, did that. Covered that. Yeah. Sorry about this, excuse me. Just making sure that I've not missed anything, you know, these notes were not really and you can imagine, because this thing's so emotional for me that sometimes I don't even know where I am. Sometimes I'm missed up, and that's why I'm a bit confused. I just want to make sure that I have covered everything, because I don't want to miss out something, and then that sheikh takes advantage of the situation, and I don't want that happening. He doesn't have to. I did that married. I did married one. I did that. Yep. 5. Yeah. Okay. I've done everything. Yep. There's just a diagnosis part. Yeah. So when you're doing a diagnosis to check if they've got something there, if there is something there. So what you do to diagnose, because of that cabal sihr, and these guys are developing things all the time. What you would do, you all you need is Surah Falaq and Nas. Read Surah Falaq and Nas on yourself if you want to do the diagnosis. You get your reference point, meaning what the reference point. You relax your body, wait 2-3 minutes, just feel your body. When you've done that, because remember when you do diagnosis, you have to have something to compare with. You know, how do you feel during the Ruqya compared to before you started the Ruqya? So you get your reference point, you wait, and then you read Surah Falaq and Nas. Keep reading Surah Falaq and Nas for about 20 minutes. And your intention is going to be, oh Allah, do I have anything that reacts to Ruqya in my body that is making me love this sheikh, or want to sleep with this sheikh, or marry this sheikh? So you read like that, if you know, and you read Ruqya like that. And if there is something like that which reacts to Ruqya, because there is something there unseen which is reacting to Ruqya, you'll start reacting. And if that's the case, then inshallah ta'ala, what you can do, please email me or look at my website and my videos, and you can get help through them, inshallah ta'ala. Or you can email me, or in fact you can even book an appointment with me via my website, inshallah ta'ala. Dave, I think that's it, isn't it, really? Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel. Now, I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but I think this was important for me to say this. Doing this, actually preparing this, it's been quite emotional for me. As you can see, I don't even know where I was. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. But I get very angry with this, because people are not listening, and people are just ignoring, not doing any Ruqya diagnosis. What can we do? What do you do Ruqya diagnosis then? Oh, we don't believe it's bid'ah. All right. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. So that's it. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.